Hello and welcome to The Insider, a show designed to clue you into the biggest news, events and announcements inside the video games industry, discussing with you some things you may know, some things you may not, and the glue that holds it all together is a little bit of my own opinion. My name is Paul James, thank you very much for watching. Let's kick off another episode. So with PUBG finally arriving on Xbox, the last of the big games of 2017 has now released. And the status of PUBG, let's not get into the technicalities around that. As a result, as we're busy playing our 2017 games, we're getting some new ones for Christmas, we're enjoying many of those over that holiday break, there's a lot of us that are starting to cast our eyes forward to what it is we're going to be playing in 2018. And in this week's episode, I'm going to highlight for you a whole host of games that are coming across the first quarter of 2018, discussing what you should play, what you should be interested in. Maybe it'll open your eyes to something new that you're keen on. Let's check them out. So if you're a fan of Japanese games, then Q1 2018 is for you. There is so many games that I need to look off camera every now and then just to keep track of the list. There is that many of them to discuss. But the year kicks off with Lost Sphear, a game developed by Tokyo RPG Factory, published by Square Enix, and it's basically a successor to the very popular I Am Setsuna of a couple of years ago. It shares a similar art style, and it's looking to bring back the old school JRPG approach that so many fans, including myself, loved for decades. So look forward to it. Next up, we've got a pair of games coming on January 26th, and I'm talking about Dragon Ball FighterZ, or Fighters, and Monster Hunter World. Both games hugely discussed at the moment. Dragon Ball FighterZ is looking fantastic. If you've caught up with any episodes of Patched, you will have heard Jay talk about it at length. He is in love with this fighting game. It is looking incredible. It's one to keep on your radar. Whilst Monster Hunter World is possibly the best opportunity yet for the Western world to find themselves ensnared by the world that is Monster Hunter. It seems like it's, from my experience playing it at PAX, it's far more accessible than what previous Monster Hunters have been. It seems like the learning curve is still steep, but the barrier to entry is much smaller. And that's a positive sign because this franchise has been tough for people in the West to get into. It's adored in Japan. There's millions and millions of fans of it over there, but it's not been able to get its hooks into the West. This might be the best opportunity up to this point. Only a few days later, those games are joined by Final Fantasy, or Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, the latest in the Final Fantasy, essentially Smash Brothers sort of franchise. Big fighting game, only Final Fantasy cast, drawing on characters from a whole range of different Final Fantasy games, from 1 through to 15, there's spin-offs. They're all in here, they're all duking it out, and if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, this is one you can't miss. The first of the exclusives arrives on PS4 on February 7th. The game I'm talking about is Shadow of the Colossus, a game that is a remake of the adored PS2 classic, same name of course. People cannot get enough of this game. They're interested and hooked by the potential changes to the gameplay, the way the controller works, because that was the one big gripe about that game in the past. There's a lot of positive press about how that's kind of faring at this particular point. If they refine that, they're making a masterpiece into something potentially even better. It's one to watch when it comes to PS4 Feb 7th. Next up, we're going to talk about Secret of Mana, a remake of a Super Nintendo classic that I could not get enough of. And this remake looks to be harnessing all that made the game great, polishing it up, and putting it back out there so that millions of people can consume it once again. This is one of the great games of all time. And if you've got even a passing interest in it, or you're not aware of it, please go check it out and potentially consider buying it when it comes out on February 15th. Next up is a contentious one. Hideo Kojima left Konami about 18 months ago after the release of Metal Gear Solid 5, and things have been ugly since. There's been a lot of hate for Konami. There's been a lot of discussion about the future of the Metal Gear franchise, and the next game in that franchise is coming in the form of Metal Gear Survive, a weird zombie sort of game. People already have their opinions on this game. I don't need to share mine. If you're interested, go buy it. If you're not, try to avoid screaming into the ether. Let's just move on. Yakuza 6 is the next game. You actually get a bit of a month-long respite here between those two releases. Yakuza 6 is the next game to release. The Yakuza franchise is experiencing a massive boom in the West at the moment after the release of Zero and Kiwami this year. It's doing really, really well. There's a lot of love for the franchise at the moment, so this new game is coming just at the right time for those who are interested. Go pick it up March 20. And as far as Japanese games go, this is the one I was most hyped about. The news broke today, the day of recording, that Ni no Kuni 2 is going to be delayed from January to March 23rd. It's still Q1, there's still plenty of reasons to be excited. Ni no Kuni 2 is looking like a gem. I've played it a few times now. I've multiple playthroughs at PAX Oz, through several different demos there. It plays really well. A lot of my concerns about the familiars disappearing are no longer there. I'm really, really happy. Ni no Kuni 2 is one to look out for. And in case you've not worked it out, there is a ton of Japanese games, awesome Japanese games coming out in Q1. Consider picking them up.
私の記憶に残る戦士の姿。
かつて俺に捧げられた戦士の力、共に自由に使うがよい。
さあ、私の世界へ。
Another key pillar of this Q1 window is virtual reality. We've seen a few games release over the course of 2017 that have been exceptional, and they've really started to deliver on the potential of the virtual reality platform. There's games coming weekly to PSN and of course to PC with the different VR platforms that are currently available. There's 3 games that I want to highlight in particular that are coming out through Q1, and conveniently enough, they're all coming to PlayStation. The first one I want to talk about is The Inpatient. It's a follow-up, and it kind of links in a little bit to the very, very popular Until Dawn that came out on PS4 a few years ago, developed by the exact same team at Supermassive Games. We don't know a hell of a lot. I like the mystery surrounding that. The game was delayed into January. It was originally meant to be basically in our hands about now. It was disappointing that it didn't make it, but it's a very promising title. Go pick it up if you're a VR user, if you're a fan of Until Dawn, when the game comes out to PS4 January 24th. Next up, I want to talk about Moss, an adorable action-adventure platforming sort of game that's coming to the PSVR. It's doing some really, really cool things. It looked gorgeous. It's got an incredible sense of charm and personality. There's some cool puzzles going on. There's simple action platforming. It's doing all the right things. And it's going to be interesting because I've played a lot of games in VR from that first-person perspective. This, I'm having to zoom right out, and I'm basically playing like a god view, looking over what the world and controlling my little mousy character in that world. Doing some interesting things. If you're not familiar with it, go check it out. It's coming to PS4 on February 27th. Finally, as far as VR is concerned, we're going to wrap things up with Bravo Team, a game that supports the PlayStation Aim controller. You've seen an unboxing that I've done about that in the past when I was talking about Farpoint. It's got the PlayStation Aim controller. It's looking to do some really cool things. Go pick it up.
I'm going to ask you again. Do you remember me?
It's just a nightmare.
Got him!
No! Get me out of there! Try to visualize the last thing you can remember before you came here. You understand I want what's best for you.
Indie games are released every single day, and there's a whole bunch of them that have probably got dates coming for Q1 2018 that simply haven't been announced yet, or will just drop on us out of nowhere. There's some great ones coming, there's plenty to look forward to, but 2 in particular I want to highlight are Kingdom Come Deliverance and A Way Out. Now it's weird that I might suggest these 2 games given that both of them have got AAA publisher backing. The first, Kingdom Come, is supported by Deep Silver, but this was a Kickstarter game years ago that I actually personally, and let's preface this, I put a little bit of my own money into because it looks fantastic. Basically what you're getting out of Kingdom Come is a Skyrim style experience without the fantasy. This is a purely medieval sort of setting, and it's doing some really cool things within that. The world is dangerous, just like Skyrim. It's your fellow human that you've got to look out for. And then I'm going to talk about A Way Out, a co-op puzzle platformer adventure sort of game that sees you working with someone either on the couch or online, and the two of you are looking to escape prison and remain out. There's a whole story around it. Joseph Fares is a madman. He's doing some cool things. Check out the game. It's published by EA. Check out the game when it releases to PS4, Xbox One, PC, March 23rd.
Henry, help us!
Help us, son. Don't be a coward.
If Sigismund attacks, they can't hold.
We have to prepare for the worst.
You spend all your days drinking and chasing wenches. What kind of fool are you, boy?
You have courage, but you need training, arms, a horse.
Please, take me into your service and give me the chance to learn these things.
Put it all behind you.
I never want to forget this. The time has come for those whore sons to pay for what they did to us.
Move! Move! Sir! They're coming! There's no time!
Who'd have thought that in this day and age, it'd be the AAA Western games that were not the centre of attention? It's crazy to imagine, but there is just so many games coming from Japan that are hitting VR, that are independent and doing really cool things, that it means the likes of these games, that I'm going to outline in a second, aren't necessarily being raved about as much as you would normally expect. It's a positive sign for the state of the industry, but it's also really boding well for those who are into these games, that there's so many other things that you can experience, and this is the cherry on top. So the first game I'm going to talk about is Sea of Thieves. You've heard me talk about Sea of Thieves so much. This Destiny-style shared world, the camaraderie that's required as a part of your pirate crew to maintain your ship, to go out and find treasure, to deal with potential threats, both human and environmental. There's some really cool things going on in Sea of Thieves, and it's a rare game, so it's got so much charm, it's not funny. Pick it up, it's coming out March 20. We've finally got a date. Next up, I want to talk about Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 was initially slated to come out February 27th. It's been delayed to March 27th, so it's only a single month. Far Cry 5, you know what you get from a Far Cry experience. You're getting an open world, you're getting a lot of attitude, you're getting towers probably that you're going to have to climb. Look, it's the Ubisoft formula that we've known and loved, but it really seems like they're leaning heavily into this racism, strong, heavily religion-driven sort of cult group, and that's cool. I like someone who's prepared to tell a story, who's prepared to bristle a few people up. There's some cool things going on. Far Cry 5, if you enjoy the gameplay formula, then all this is just a cherry on top, worth picking it up. And the final one technically doesn't have a release date yet, but there was a leak only a week ago that God of War, the new series reboot, was coming to PS4 on March 23rd. I've put it in this pile because the leak came from PSN itself. Someone took a screenshot of what they saw on the store. But then only a day or two later at PSX, that date wasn't addressed whatsoever. It wasn't even teased, there was nothing said about it. I would put my... No, that's a little bit too much. I'd put a bit of money on the fact that God of War is going to release in that week. Whether it's that exact date remains to be seen. Of course, we've got a worldwide release, so these things can fluctuate from day to day. But I would expect God of War to release before the end of March. There's plenty of cool things going on with the game. They're taking this game in a new direction, so I can understand the hesitation in terms of dropping a serious date, because who knows, things can happen. The redevelopment of this project means a lot to them. But look out for it. God of War's going to be incredible, and it's coming potentially March 23rd.
I am your father, and you are my children.
Upon us! I shall lead you to the gate! For you are my children, and I am your father!
And with that, Those are the games that you need to be keeping an eye on through the course of Q1 2018. There is some incredible games on the way. There is already some incredible games that we're still enjoying from 2017, but those are just a few of the incredible games that you'll get to experience in the first 3 months of this year. It's crazy that there's so much quality coming this soon. The gaming calendar is getting more and more cluttered every week. More and more games are falling out. More and more games are there for a variety of different people and different tastes. It's a great state that the industry's in. Look forward to it all and play as many as you can. For more, please make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel. All those are down below here. That'll allow you to catch up with weekly episodes of The Insider, of Patched, the Video Games Club. There's trailers, there's Player 2 plays, and there's a whole bunch more. All that stuff can only be found at our YouTube channel. It's all original content, so again, please like, share and subscribe so you can catch up with all of it. If you like our written content or you want to check it out, please make sure to visit player2.net.au. That's where you can catch up with our reviews, previews, there's opinions, there's features, the Player 2 drafts there. There's a whole bunch that you can only check out if you visit our website. We've got some incredible talent at Player 2, so make sure to check out their work. And if you want to catch up with them more ongoing, in a more ongoing capacity, please, Paul James P2 on Twitter, the website, Player2AU on Twitter. That'll allow you to find updates from the site as they come out and my ramblings. So please check them both out. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week.